We've got us online and recording because there's already a good number.
Or are you off today?
I know, that's what I said. I'm like, oh my gosh, on Monday?
I'm gonna try to contribute.
Always. I'm actually having lunch during the lunch and learn. That's a shock. All right, so we're just waiting a couple more minutes, I guess.
You called it lunch and learn, so you could have lunch. It's perfect.
That's right. You guys can have lunch too.
I'm having soup.
Dougie bought me some lunch. Got Daniel all lined up with a personal trainer, Manny, in town. Do you know him, Dr. Sirota?
No.
You know him, Michelle. It's like you have all these connections, and then every once in a while.
My first ever Juice Plus event at Julie's house, he was there. But I had been looking up someone in personal training, and he popped up on the internet. So yeah, that's cool.
And I've seen him maybe twice since then. And then today he popped in my mind while we're at Dr. Bobshevers. I'm like, that's the perfect person for Daniel. He popped in.
Yeah.
He wasn't busy. Got him all lined up for stuff. He's like, you're gonna get that haircut, right? Like, oh yeah, doing it today. You're gonna get some tennis shoes, right? So he's gonna be good. He's gonna get them ready.
Hey Sharon, make me a co-host, would you?
Oh. Right. Okay, well I know some more people are gonna be coming on.
Oh yeah.
Welcome.
Hey Jules, Heather, Alicia, we got Gwen, Janie. All right.
Your video's on, guys. Say hi.
We want to see some smiles.
Jules, what are you up to over there?
Hi Alicia.
I just got done at the gym, and the kids like to play out here by the ponds. Want to say hi? No.
Hi, Kathy.
Who is that? Say hi.
Honey.
They're saying hi to you.
Hi.
Oh, there's.
And there's Emma. Hi, Emma. Lisa's.
Hi Emma.
We gotta get those kids together soon after COVID.
Hi.
Hey.
There's at the grocery store.
All right, Christine and Vanessa are hopping on. That's great. Good to see you guys.
Welcome.
Good to see you too.
How's your Monday, guys?
Good so far. And yours?
Very good. I'm pumped. Super pumped. We
Awesome.
the blitz this morning, and then I ran all around. I saw Dr. Sirota put some seedlings in her tower.
Yay.
Yay.
Hi Ikenna, how are you?
I'm doing very, very well. Not bad at all. How about you all?
Excellent.
I'm
Excellent.
trying to hear your accent. I love it. Oh my gosh.
That's why I'm part of the team. It's the accent. That's why.
You just need to stick around. Did you do self-care Sunday this Sunday?
Yes, I am. Yes. I haven't put it on any of the Voxer chats, but I will do it this week.
All right.
This week, okay.
Awesome. People are still coming on.
Well, someone had a question. Let's see. Somebody answered me back. Just so you guys know, if you get the reminders on Project Broadcast for these, when you answer me back, that's not usually a place where I check, but I do catch it sometimes. Kathy Crispin, is she on? No. She said she's coming, but she has a customer, Sharon, in Italy till November, and was checking to see if we've done an overseas order. She had a few questions. So Sharon, why don't you, if you're going to wait a few more seconds,
Okay.
maybe you could just show everybody. It's so easy to find your, I guess I could do it.
Yeah, you got this.
All right, so if we go.
Meanwhile, everybody texts their teammates, say, we're on.
So if I go to drsirota.juiceplus.com. All right, so here's Dr. Sirota's site where people would order. Yeah, this didn't work for me. I thought I did. DRSIROTA.
That's right.
We have to check that, Sharon. That's bouncing back to the main site. We'll check on that. I'll go to mine. Okay, so when you're on your website, up here, you have a couple of things that are important. This is your personal account. Now, all of your customers can go here, and if they click on this, it'll lead them through to like manage their own orders in case they don't want to have to call and manage shipment dates and stuff. But right here, like right now, if you ordered on my site, it'd be in US by default. But look right here, let's say my friend was in Italy. I would just choose Italy, and I can have it in Italian. And I would just click here and copy this and send it to them. And my friends in Italy would order on the Italian website, and their Juice Plus would be shipped from Italy and all that kind of stuff. That's pretty cool, huh?
Really cool.
You can go to all these different countries: Luxembourg, Israel, Germany, UAE. UAE is on there already. Obviously, it's been open for a while. Mexico is not on there yet. They're opening this month, though. So that's it. It's that easy. So when Kathy comes on, we can remind her of that. All right, Sharon, it's 12:06.
All right, so I'm so excited for you guys to get introduced to Dr. Lisa Sirota. She's been on the team for quite a while. I don't know how long. Who would know that? I don't know. I could look it up. Michelle, I think you would know that. I knew it was Michelle or Kristen would know. How long has she been on the team?
I think it's 7 years.
7 years, okay. So, because we all have these markers in our head. Was it because you were in the business, and how do you remember that?
Because I remember when you were talking with her, and then she started doing events at your home during the summer for moms. That was like fabulous. I don't know. I remember a lot of that stuff.
Yep. All right. So anyway, she still is my pediatrician. And so a lot of times, hold on, sometimes we wonder, what can we say to our doctors? You know, what can we say or do? And that's something I definitely want you to speak on, to share Juice Plus with our doctors. I think that we all want to, like, when's the appropriate time, how many times, how many exposures, what's the best thing to share, some of those types of things. And so with her, I was scared of her, seriously. She's laughing, it's the truth. She's all business in the room, okay? It's like, it's on. And she's where'd you graduate from? Like Harvard or Yale or someplace like that. Like, she's super smart and she's the best. And so it's like crazy. So I was scared. And so I would just give her a little research and back off. A little research, back, here's the latest research on Juice Plus. So anyway, I'd love to hear what she thinks of that. But also I was like, don't want those vaccines, sorry. You know, I was one of those pain in the butts too. So I definitely probably stood out to her in that way. So who knows what she thought? We haven't really talked about it, but we can. And so, maybe she could speak to that, and also why she recommends Juice Plus, and maybe why even more now, you know? So let's talk to Dr. Sirota, and put your questions in the chat, and we'll facilitate getting those questions answered. Everybody always loves talking to Dr. Sirota. So we're gonna spotlight you so you show up real big on here and hear your story. Are you unmuted? Let's hear.
I unmuted myself.
Yay! All right, so glad to have you.
It's a little ironic that the first day that I was able to hop onto this call is because I'm home not feeling very well. But this could be the first time I've been sick in a very, very long time. And I think it's really interesting what I feel like happened since I've been living in a bubble since mid-March, is that my immune system is not encountering things on a regular basis to keep me active and strong. And I was in the room with an 18-month-old last week who wasn't wearing a mask. I, of course, was, and he sneezed. And I think my guard is just a little down. And so I think now more than ever, as you're talking to people, that's one of many different things you can talk about regarding our environment with COVID. It's not just to really give ourselves a suit of armor against this predator, this horrible virus that's attacking our country. But I think as we live in a bubble and we're not around other people and we're not really encountering the kinds of minor assaults on our immune system that keep us strong and vigilant on a regular basis, we need more protection now than we have before. And so I think now more than ever, it's a wonderful thing to talk about Juice Plus. I also want to mention one more thing about something that's really very relevant. There was a recent Science article that was talking about what constitutes increased risk for people that are older and people that have obesity and people that have other chronic diseases. And they're looking very carefully at the cellular immunity and noticing that it is inflammation that reduces the activity of our immune system against pathogens. And so they're looking at our cells as we get older, and there's more inflammation in our body with senescent cells that aren't cleared. Of course, we know that people that have chronic diseases like hypertension, diabetes, and obesity, they have more inflammation. And so particularly now, as people are getting older and they have more chronic disease, it is our immunity is faltering in the presence of chronic inflammation. And so this is really very relevant, and it's cutting edge right now in terms of what people are talking about in science. We need more protection for our immune system to reduce inflammation, to improve our immune function. I think those are the most important things, just kind of off the bat.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I know that we all want to know how to protect ourselves and how to share with people nowadays. So go ahead and share your Juice Plus story. You know, people would probably love to hear how you got interested in Juice Plus and how it went and all that, and how you recommend it now. So as much of that as you want to share.
Right. I'm happy to share as much of it as we have time for with not taking over the meeting. So I was introduced to Juice Plus at the very beginning, literally at the very beginning. My brother-in-law heard about it, thought I might be interested. My kids were literally babies at the time. Maybe they were 3, because now they're 28. And I would go to meetings in, in hotels and learn about the science. And I was so stoked to bring Juice Plus to my practice and to my family. My parents started at the very beginning. We all started at the very beginning. My kids took it from the very beginning, back in the days where they were chalky chewables and not delicious gummies. And then my partners in my practice just had a hard time with the business model. And at that time, the product was being shipped directly to the office, and it would sometimes sit and it didn't have as good integrity. And they really kind of pushed it out. And I think I lost a little bit of my enthusiasm with all the negativity. And then, I grew in my interest in food as medicine. I really became so disillusioned with how I had been trained as a physician. And about 10 years ago, when I turned 50, I really started reaching out to more places to learn and started taking more classes. And I was so blessed to be able to do a fellowship in integrative medicine with Andy Weil's group in Arizona from 2016 to 2018. And it was in the years right before then that I really just became supercharged in terms of, if I'm ever going to make an impact on the lives of my patients, I can't just write them a prescription. I have to find a way to get to the root cause and how to support wellness and not just treat disease. And so all those things kind of happened at the same time, along with my mom with progressive rheumatoid arthritis, my twin sister, fraternal twin sister with advanced Alzheimer's disease, my older sister with metastatic lung cancer, and a whole barrage of patients in my practice with autism and ADHD and early diabetes and insulin resistance and this horrible epidemic of obesity. And how am I going to make an impact? There's no drugs for that stuff, you know? We got to heal the body, and we have to armor ourselves up and protect our DNA and find ways that we can be healthier than what we've been given. And so all those things really are part of the story of why I take Juice Plus and why I recommend Juice Plus. And talking about it just gets me even more enthused. And so the most recent part of my story is that I taught a few classes at my temple on mysticism and sustainability and Judaism. And it became so clear to me that I've really been kind of blinded to the whole issue of sustainability and the impact that I have been having and the impact that I could be having. And I always made excuses. I don't need a tower garden. We're only 2 people. It's going to be too much, blah, blah, blah. And yet, when I learned about sustainability and the impact that I could be having on the planet, it was so clear to me, grow your own food. Literally, it was such like a smack in the head that I learned it. I'm going to share a statistic because it's so powerful. I read in Michael Pollan's book, The Omnivore's Dilemma, about earthbound farms that grows 80% of the organic lettuce in this country. Sorry guys, I had a phone call. That what it takes to grow and harvest and maintain that product at the right temperature, 45 degrees, and what it takes to create the packaging for that product, and what it takes to transport that product all over the country and probably all over the world. That for the carbon imprint of that package of organic lettuce that I'm buying because I think it's the safest thing and the best thing for me, for every calorie of lettuce in that package, it takes 57 calories of energy to produce it. For every calorie of lettuce in that package, it takes 57 calories of energy to produce it. So like immediately I'm like, I'm done. I'm going to grow my own. And so I just feel like I had to grow up enough to really understand that all these gifts that are in front of us in our community are ours for to grab.
So now she's got a tower garden,
And as of today, I have seedlings in my tower garden. Thank you, Sharon.
she's super pumped. So she's starting her journey showing the tower garden on Facebook, and people are like, oh, that looks good. So we're going to get to that. But let's hear any questions you guys have. I don't see very many in the chat about, how do you approach a doctor? What was telling to you? I'll just ask you some of those questions.
Yeah, I didn't really talk about how to approach a doctor. I think the research is the selling point, 100%, 100%, 100%. And your personal story. Kristen and I talk about this. I shared Juice Plus with Kristen because her kids were sick all the time. Had asthma and ear infections, and I had to miss school, and she was missing work, and like, we can make your kids healthier, let's make an impact. And her kids got so much better so quickly, which inspired Kristen to share her story. I think talking about the research, but most importantly, telling your personal story is going to be the most powerful thing you can share with people, including physicians.
How many times did I tell you no? I don't want that stuff.
Yeah. And I was her wellness coordinator, so I was calling Kristen, and she was saying, I want more gummies after she finally loved the gummies. So then I introduced the business to Kristen. So Kristen is on Dr. Sirota's team.
And how many times did I tell you no?
Right, a lot.
And rocking it.
Yeah.
And Vanessa, you have a question?
Good. Go ahead, Vanessa. Yes. You can speak up.
Go ahead and unmute, Vanessa.
I wonder if she's not able to. Let's see. Vanessa, how are you?
All right, well, she...
Hi. How are you
Oh, there
guys?
she is.
Yeah, I got lost in my phone because I have like 4 or 5 screens open. Happy Monday, everyone.
Yay.
Yeah, okay, question. Doctor, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. I was diagnosed with prediabetes 8 years ago. And Of course, hormonal changes happened for me early, and I have a little bit of an issue with thyroid and my pre-diabetic. I've been taking Juice Plus for like about 4 months. And my last blood test, I don't have any issues with my thyroid. It's completely normal. And I am no pre-diabetic anymore. So it's like, it's wow. It's like, it takes my breath away because I've been dealing with it. I never took medicine. They want to put me in medication. And I say, nope, 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 I don't want it. So in your educated standpoint, how can I talk to my clients? How can I talk to the people that I speak with and in an educated standpoint about that? How does Plus help me? Because that's what happened to me.
I think, first of all, congratulations for taking your health in your own hands. You know, honestly, I'm a physician, and I was trained to be a modern Western physician, but we have turned our back on thousands of years of a really important experience with healing our body with plants. Thousands of years in the Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine. There's so many traditions. And so thyroid dysfunction actually absolutely is inflammation.
Right.
And the same thing with insulin resistance. And when you retrain your body to be better balanced, and when you slow down the inflammation in your immune system, everything else heals. The other thing that's really important about insulin resistance and thyroid is how your gut is functioning. And we know that people that have what we call intestinal permeability or leaky gut are more likely to have autoimmune issues and insulin resistance. And so I think how Juice Plus works in helping to repair intestinal impermeability is also one more way that it's helped your thyroid become better balanced and help your blood sugars become better balanced. There are probably multiple effects, but again, share your story. It's so provocative. You know,
it is powerful.
A pharmaceutical company is not going to want to hear it, but your physician caring for a population of people that are interested in healing and not just disease management, hopefully is interested. And if that person isn't, maybe you need a different doctor.
Right. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I have a question for Dr. Sirota. I've always wondered this. I tend to feel like the Juice Plus capsules are like, that's what the research is done on. So I always feel like that's like the real deal. And then there's the gummies. But I heard that you take the gummies, and I just wondered what's your feeling on capsules versus gummies, and does it matter?
I think in terms of the product, I don't think it matters. When I started back on Juice Plus years ago, it wasn't vegetarian, and I'm vegetarian / pescatarian, and so I would not consume gelatin. And so at the time, I took the gummies, and now it's just my favorite part of the day. And even though capsules are probably Sirota appropriate now, I'm not going to give up the gummies because I like them too much. And my husband, who has ulcerative colitis, takes his capsules every morning and takes my gummies every night. So he does it twice a day because they're so good.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions?
I'd like to ask one if you don't mind.
Go ahead, Sandy.
So I have a 18-month-old, or she's 19 months, and she loves the gummies, and the challenge is she loves the capsules. Like, she'll literally stand at the counter and like, to get another capsule of the day. Would you say, I know that we say Juice Plus is food, would you say there's a limit that I should be cutting her off? Because I even use the gummies if we go out to restaurants and like have her sitting still for a while. You know, we'll cut them up and we'll just, you know, she could probably have 6 or 7 at a time. Would you say there's a limit to how much Juice Plus little one should be eating?
No, as long as you have enough supply and don't mind paying for extra, it's food. It's like if I had, you know, a bowl of broccoli for breakfast and a huge salad for lunch and a huge stir fry for dinner, you know, and then ate fruit in between for my snacks. There's no limit. No, I personally have not seen anybody develop diarrhea by, taking too much Juice Plus because it doesn't have all the fiber and some other things. In my experience, I would say no problem.
Awesome. Thank you. I thought the same way too, but it's always nice to have the validation. So I appreciate that.
Sure. Pleasure.
Hi, Dr. Sirota. I have a question for you. Dealing with diabetes and everything as far as knowing your numbers, and you go to your PCP, and immediately if your numbers are really off the charts, they want to put you on medication. How do you begin a conversation where you don't want to run to medicine as your first advice, especially dealing with a doctor that knows all? How do you incorporate health or say, give me a chance to correct it? Because medication is necessary in certain cases, but lifestyle changes also. So how do you believe the physician community or medical community is looking at food integration as a part of medicine?
Right. I think there are two ways to answer your question. Maybe there's more than two, but let me start talking and then we'll see how many. I think the first thing to say is that in this country, we still have, I'm going to call it a patriarchal view of physicians. Like, they're like the father, they're the God, they have all the answers, they know what's best for me, I need to listen to them. Honey, what I'm saying is take responsibility for your own health, because that physician is only offering you what they know. And I'm sure in this community, you've talked about this 100 times over. The amount of education that doctors get in medical school is shamefully small. And the amount of people who go back like I did to learn more about integrative medicine and wellness is also shamefully small. And the amount of continuing education that is done in this country on nutrition is shamefully small, because there's not a big drug company paying for conferencing and paying to teach doctors about new drugs. And so you have to take responsibility for your own health. And if your doctor says, I'm going to write you a prescription for this medicine, you could say thank you and not take it. And then when they see you back in 3 months and your A1C came down from 6.9 to 5.3, they can say, I'm so proud of you, you did a great job taking your medicine. And you could say, I'm so proud of me too, because I changed my lifestyle and I fixed my prediabetes without your medicine. Take responsibility.
And she is. All right.
Wow.
I have a question. So, Dr. Sirota, I know 25 years ago you were part of the business and then you kind of went to the wayside, but then you came back.
I went to the dark side and I came back.
And we're so glad you're back. Was it the relationship that you had with Sharon that you feel like brought you more back into the business, rather than if it was a new patient and you didn't really know them and they were sharing this with you? I don't know if you would have been as open as to the fact that you knew Sharon and she had been sharing with you over the years.
Yeah, I think it was really a combination of, I knew Juice Plus. It's like when you go home and you taste the food of your childhood kind of a thing. Like, I knew Juice Plus, and I had a relationship with Sharon, and so I was more open-minded on both of those things. And so I think having a personal relationship with somebody, automatically your ears are a little bit more open than if you necessarily cold call people that don't know you at all. And knowing how Sharon raised her children, and knowing how Sharon had challenges in her own family's health, and how she took Juice Plus so seriously, and how her kids did so well, was also the reminder of the inspiration that I needed to look at Juice Plus again. And again, I was in a different place, and so I was ready to hear it again.
She was already talking about probiotics and on her own health journey. That was very key. She was already making her own changes, and she was talking about giving handouts about things she recommends. She was already recommending things. And so it was just a natural progression too. I helped move it along.
You did.
Cool. Nicole Medina, go ahead.
Hi. So my question is on approaching a doctor, because I actually tried to talk to my doctor about Juice Plus. And she basically said, well, that sounds like a big waste of money. And I was like, oh my gosh. But it perplexed me, because she had a whole bunch of stuff in her office about nutrition she had like signs on the wall about making sure you get probiotics. She had a sample of yogurt on the counter. And so I felt like she was going to be open to talking about nutrition, and she just shut me down. So, and she's very busy. And I think maybe I just tried to rush because she's so busy. I just kind of blurted stuff out. And I guess I didn't say it in a way that was intriguing enough to get her interested. So for a really busy doctor, how would you recommend that first initial introduction to it so that it actually catches their attention and they look at it?
Yeah, I think you're right. Most physicians are very much, have constrictions on their time. Either you're working in a practice or you're answering to insurance companies or to a larger group that kind of owns your practice. And so if you only have 10 minutes with a patient, you have your agenda that you got to get through in 10 minutes, and you're not going to have the bandwidth to be able to add something else in. And so you make it that immediate. But perhaps if you open with, I'd love to communicate with you, or I'd love to share something with you when we have some time. Can I text you? Can I email you? Can I send something to your office? Can we arrange for a time when you're not so busy that I can talk to you for 5 or 10 minutes? And just let it be something that they can open to in a way that doesn't feel like their time is being threatened. Because I've been in that space before, not just with Juice Plus, but just feeling the heat of having to devote the best of my time to my patient when I know the time is limited. So creating that time I think in a different way, or in a different space, or with a different follow-up, or I think those things are potentially useful.
Right, and I've seen Dr. Sirota in action over the years as a pediatrician, a busy pediatrician. She's got to make sure she doesn't miss anything too. I don't want her to miss anything. And so she's got to be, on task. And I think that's really great advice to ask for a different time outside of it. And also we've heard in the past, to talk to doctors about their own health and their own family, not to talk about the practice, like, hey, this would be really good for you to share with your patients, to more focus on the doctor themselves and their family. How do you feel about that, Dr. Sirota?
Yeah, I think so. And even broader than that. So Nicole, you could even say, I noticed your poster about nutrition and I share your passion about that. I've been taking Juice Plus for a while, or by taking a product that's, however you want to talk about it, and say, I'd love to share it with you sometime, just to validate that they're already showing some interest. Or even, you could take it both ways. Like I always think about a partner of mine whose name will not be mentioned, who was a smoker and was 40 pounds overweight. And I could not convince this person to take Juice Plus. Like I literally recognized, hey, it looks like you're struggling with blah, blah. And so if you see somebody, a physician that, looks like they care for themselves, their weight is a healthy weight, or you notice that they have a good muscle tone, you can even acknowledge, it looks like you take really good care of yourself. I'd love to share with you sometime how I'm taking care of me and my family. Just something to acknowledge, just to validate what they're already doing for themselves, or what you see them doing in their practice, just to validate that you think it's fantastic and you'd love to talk with them more about it sometime.
Okay,
and I would mention that all of those healthcare professionals that you do see on our team, it always happens over time and a number of exposures. So it was never like we just lay it down, or Sharon goes in there and says, you can't do that. But once you understand what Dr. Sirota is saying, don't be afraid, because it is quite normal in the medical world. Because think of the pharmaceutical reps. When a pharmaceutical rep brings their kid in, she's not going to really have time to talk about, whatever the drug is they rep. But she sure will let them send information or drop off some studies. They'll even let you buy lunch for the whole office and talk to them for an hour if you want. But that's just the way it kind of works in the system. So don't be afraid to bring it up, but just like she was saying, bring it up that way.
If you wanna.
Hi, Dr. Sirota. It's so nice seeing your beautiful face again.
Hello, hello.
I wanted to ask a question. I approach many doctors because of my mother situations and with her being elderly. And what I come across with the pushback is, oh, it's a conflict in interest. If I get people healthy, then I can't prescribe medicine. And that shocked me. That kind of like threw me back a bit. I'm like, what? How do I answer that? I'm like, aren't you in the business of healing people? And they are really adamant. I had at least 3 tell me, oh, well, that sounds like it's a conflict in interest. And even though they saw the results that it was doing in my mother, even though it brought her A1C down, it took care of her cholesterol. I mean, her cholesterol went down, but her eating habits and her lifestyle had changed a lot as well. And the Juice Plus helped. But even though they saw that, they still thought it was a conflict of interest. And I just was stumped and had no idea how to even answer that question.
Yeah. You know, I have to say that conflict of interest is probably something that the doctor said to make you quiet, but it's not a conflict of interest. You know, what it really is, and what I'm feeling in my heart when I say this to you, is that it's a change in paradigm. And when you shift the paradigm, it's literally like the ground is being pulled out from underneath you. And that's scary for anybody, whether you're talking about your medical practice, whether you're talking about your diet, whether you're talking about your kid's sexuality, whether you're talking about your faith. Any change from what you know, any change from what you've been told, the change in paradigm threatens something inside of all of us, you know? And so unless you own a pharmaceutical company, you know, or you're getting kickbacks because you're prescribing a certain amount of drug, it's not a conflict of interest, but it does threaten to change the paradigm. And we've said this already. The paradigm is, are you out to manage disease, or are you out to promote wellness and help people heal? And you may have to ask somebody at some point, would you consider looking at the difference between managing disease and helping people actually heal? But that's literally what we're talking about. And I know from my husband's a physician. He takes Juice Plus, but he has never been able to shift his paradigm and really promote wellness. He is holding on so tight to what he's been taught. He can't let go of that. But I think sometimes you have to face something in your life to be able to say, maybe I need to let go and look at things a different way. I know for me, that's what happened. I had to look at all the tragedy going on around me to be able to say, I need a new way. I need a new way.
Thank you. That made a lot of sense. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I have to say that Dr. Sirota has more patients than ever and more people recommending her because she's more holistic. So people are always asking on the mommy groups and stuff, who's a good holistic pediatrician? And I mean, I know I'm always answering her name. So she's like 1 out of like 12 people there, and I just always send people to her, you know? So they're losing out on that market of people who want not just the cookie cutter answers, you know, of medicine.
I mean, the other thing, and you're going to find this when you talk to your friends and to your family and your neighbors and the people you know in your church communities and whatever. People are so used to the quick fix, right? They're used to just give me the pill and my symptoms will go away. It's something about our country, right? We're used to the quick fix. And so you have to get past that paradigm also, that there isn't a pill for everything that ails you, but there may be an answer that makes that pill not necessary.
Something for the team to remember too, that you know, you only have one primary doctor. Maybe you have only one pediatrician, hopefully, right? And so if you don't be too discouraged, but if your doctor says no, I mean, what if you shared with only one friend? I mean, you're probably only going to have 1 out of 10 people that are really interested in Juice Plus. That's kind of the average, 1 or 2 out of 10. So you'd have to have 10 doctors to have maybe 2 of them interested. So, you know, I think you have to evaluate your doctor. And if they're not interested, I mean, I think everybody should seek out a doctor that respects natural solutions, or at least considers them. And that's just a doctor choice, but don't get too discouraged. I did have one more question. I have a question for you. Go ahead, Dr. Sirota.
One thing, because I think what we're also talking about is it's a path and it's a process. And so you're not going to get somebody necessarily the first time, but what if you showed back up the next year and your blood pressure is normal and you lost 40 pounds and your A1C is normal and you're able to stop your medication, for your mild arthritis or any of a number of things, that your allergies got better. You're not taking singular Claritin anymore. You're not taking your inhaler anymore because your asthma is better. I mean, there's a million different things we could say, that you are you're the messenger, because personally you've experienced the healing. And so when you show up in that doctor's office a year later and you have another story to tell, that is so provocative. So don't lose your story, and don't think it has to be done in one visit. When you're back 6 months later or a year later, your story is going to matter.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm going to call on Ikenna.
Ikenna, yes.
Hi.
Michelle answered Ikenna's hi question beautifully, but I think he would love to hear it from you also. Ikenna, we'd love to hear your voice, so I'm going to make that.
Hi, Dr. Sirota. Yes, the question I had was, and I know Michelle's already answered it, and I know where the answer is because I saw the video on the Freedom Revolution website about cancer survivors. My mother had thyroid cancer about 10 years ago now. She survived it. And the good news is I've very recently got her on Reduce Plus after plenty of going back and forth and sending her links and blah, 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 blah. But anyway, she's taking it now. But what I want to tell her is I think she's only taking it to support me because this is a new endeavor for myself. But what I want her to kind of understand is that this is going to benefit her on the long term in terms of her health. And do you have any idea in terms of the thyroid, in terms of how taking the capsules regularly every single day will actually benefit her in the long term? Do you have any knowledge on that?
Well, what I would suggest, and it's not specific for thyroid cancer, what I would suggest is that the body is constantly, our immune system is constantly monitoring, So anything that's happening that's apart from things that support our health, our immune system is cleaning and clearing and processing all the time. And so when we have cancer, it's because two things happened. Not so simple, but two things happened. For your mom, two things happened. Her cells got misinformation, and that comes from changes in the DNA. And that happens from all the things that we know, we use the word epigenetic, things in our environment, things in our diet that talk to our cells and give miscues to our DNA, and all of a sudden our DNA is replicating in the wrong way. And we have a colony of cells that go rogue, and our immune system didn't recognize it. And so the two very important reasons to take Juice Plus when you're talking to your mom or a friend or a patient or a physician who has an experience with cancer is that the benefit on the immune system in terms of being a better monitor of what's going on when things go awry, and also protecting your body from inflammation and other things that cause those epigenetic changes to our DNA that promote cancer. Again, I like the phrase suit of armor. Your Juice Plus is the suit of armor. It helps to protect your DNA from those epigenetic changes that can promote cancer. It helps to strengthen your immune system so you're more vigilant when those changes happen and your body can clear them before they turn into a tumor. And so your mom's got great reasons to take it, apart from supporting her son, which is a very good reason, but she's got great reasons to take it.
Fantastic, thank you.
And I do want to say, part of why I take more time when I see patients is that I always take a full family history, because I want to be able to have an impact on the arc of that child's life. because I only get them for the first 21 years, but I want to have an impact. And so when I hear on one side or both sides that there's cancer and hypertension and diabetes and depression and schizophrenia and a first heart attack at 40 or an early death from a stroke or any of a number of things, I know Juice Plus can help that family. I could be more successful in getting the message out, and Sharon and Kristen are helping me. But I talk about nutrition from the get-go, even from a baby, and I tell that family, even when I take a baby history, I tell that family the phrase that I learned from Mark Hyman, that genetics loads the gun, but environment and nutrition pull the trigger. And so even though you've just told me all these things going on in your family history, I don't want you to feel like your child is going to be on a path toward getting disease. That we have tools that we can use from very, very young age to protect that child. And nutrition is one of them.
Hi, Dr. Sirota.
Hi, Dr. Sirota.
Hello.
I just wanted to share my experience with Dr. Sirota.
Hi.
She has been the pediatrician for my kids since they were born. And my son, this one right here, he was on Singular and he was using the inhaler. He no longer uses them anymore. We were taking Juice Plus before even knowing that Dr. Sirota did Juice Plus. So when we told her that, she encouraged us to continue to take it. And also, hey, be nice. She always encouraged proper nutrition. Right, Jet? What's your favorite vegetables? Come on. They're waiting for you.
Oh, my favorite vegetable?
Quickly. Carrots? Cucumbers?
Cucumbers.
Okay. And we moved away and still travel 3.5 hours to see Dr. Sirota because of the quality that we get from her. And we love her. Yes, kisses to Dr. Sirota. We love you and miss you. We'll be in soon.
Sounds great. Love you, miss you too. Stay safe.
Thank you.
How wonderful. And welcome to the team. Yay. Okay, well, we're going to transition, take Dr. Sirota off the hot seat, but she's definitely invited to come back anytime, all the time. So wouldn't we want, and I love that she's got mommies on her team. I've always been all about mommies on a mission. I think Dr. Sirota loves knowing she has mommies out there who are sharing on behalf of her. That's one of the beautiful things about our business, having a team of people who are out there sharing the same thing because she said yes, Because I said yes, many of you are on the team. Because she said yes, she's got her own army of people. So we're going to transition and talk about one of the best events right now to invite to, and that's going to be the back to school event. And it's an event that's different. So I want Michelle to help me on this, or Karen. I don't know if Karen's on here yet. She had an appointment. Yeah, she's here too. To talk about how this event is a little different. It's a 3-part series. Invite all parents, all people really. I think it's going to be phenomenal because our community is so good about making simple changes or having healthier hacks where we include more fiber, we switch up ingredients, things like that. We have like these ways of having healthier foods. So maybe Michelle, did you do the agenda? Maybe you could talk about that agenda list of who's going to share what, so that people get excited and keep adding people to the group that we've created.
Hey, I was not the one who made the agenda, but it was Sandy, where we divided who was going to talk about what. But our primary focus is just helping moms find easy, healthy ways to get more nutrition into their kids' diets throughout the day. And now we have this virtual homeschooling where we know that our kids want to eat all day long, and that's just crazy. So we're giving tips on breakfast, on healthy snacks, on a healthy lunch, healthy recipes throughout the day, and dinners, and easy but nutritious. So, and we have like moms from all walks of life. We have the fitness experts, the health coaches, we have the moms that have the little ones. So it's just going to be so good. And the way that it's being laid out and done is going to be in a Facebook group. where we're streaming live into this Facebook group. And if you're not in a Facebook group yet, you need to get in there, because there's been some hilarious posts and some really good posts that we're just putting out to get everyone excited. And it's a 3-part series. So this Wednesday will be the first of 2 other events. It'll be this Wednesday, next Wednesday, and the Wednesday following that. And there's going to be different topics. But this topic we feel like is what people want to know right now, which is how to get some healthy, easy foods onto their kids' plates or in their children's bodies. So that is it.
So maybe you could run down, if I know, I remember one of my first ones that I remember seeing for breakfast was healthier pancakes, smoothies, and something else. Oh, overnight oatmeal. So that was just the breakfast part. And it's Kristen Winters, Nicole Medina, Michelle Fletcher, Karen Orlowski, Sandy Stetter. I know Jules is going to play a part. Later, Lonnie is going to be doing it. So what are some of the other meals? I think there was nachos.
We have the complete bites, nachos, Gray's trays, make ahead muffins, acai bowls, nachos, salad in a jar, like how to do it, lentil soup, infused waters, healthy Gatorade, smoothies, overnight oats, a lot.
It's going to be a lot of great information. So, whenever I talk about what we have, I'll say as a community, we have some of the awesome, most awesome mommies. We're putting on this event to share some of our healthy tips and things. So, blame it on the community, blame it on the healthy community making simple changes, and that you want them to have the same information to be able to, use it for whatever. And no expectations. We just want them to take advantage of that.
And I do want to just mention that at the end, we will be sharing that Juice Plus is really one of the things that ties us all together, and one of the easiest and healthiest hacks that we have as parents that we've been using for years. So that will be incorporated, and we'll share what Juice Plus is. And after the event is over, we'll be sharing recipes within the group so that people can see what we've been talking about and see those recipes.
And that's just this Wednesday, right?
That's just this Wednesday. Are we going to mention the contest, Michelle?
Yes, I believe the contest is going to be mentioned before, for this event.
Before Wednesday.
Right?
Okay, but we don't want to let the team know? Anybody know?
Oh,
no.
let the team know.
You can let them know, Karen, because I wasn't sure what you guys decided on. Let them know.
Okay, well, no, so what we talked about is we want, a lot of times, I don't know about you guys, but I have people who get so excited and I add them to a Facebook group and then they never find the time to watch. So we really wanted to try and make sure that people are engaged in watching, not just taking advantage of all the great posts that we're going to be doing, but watching the actual half an hour or 40-minute, Zoom or not Zoom, but the Facebook, live we're going to be doing. And so we're going to be doing a contest. So the people have to watch it, and we want them to tell us something of value that they got from that stream, whether they loved the pancakes or they loved Michelle's oh my gosh, Gatorade, whatever it is, we want them to put something that from the video that they loved. And what we're going to do is figure out whose team that's on, and then that team, either the sponsor or maybe their upline if they're brand new or whatever, we can send them a gift. And it can be I personally would love to do something like Juice Plus, especially if they're not a Juice Plus person. We can send them a little goodie bag full of some shake samples and gummy samples or something. If they're already ordering everything, maybe you want to send them a smoothie shaker bottle. So I don't know, that can be something, that we can decide, but we're going to be doing a contest as well.
Awesome. Okay, so that starts Wednesday. So these 2 days and even Wednesday is good. Get the people into the group. I like to send the link. I'll say, I've added you to the group. Here's the link in case you forget, where it is and all that. And so you want to kind of keep a list of those people so that you can then follow up with them or make sure they've seen the post, all that. Okay, Doug's going to close this
And
out.
where did I see Michelle and some other people posting some verbiage? Was that in the Team Transformers Voxer, I think, right?
In the Voxer, yeah.
Yeah, so guys, this is a great time to be connected. Go ahead, Karen.
I will also tell you too that while back to school is how we're focusing on it, I have actually had one of my single guy friends who wanted to be added to the group because he says, I'm looking for hacks. And then I have one of my other mom friends who her kids are grown and they're gone. So You know, yes, it's mainly for like moms, you know, with younger kids, but I think it's for everybody really who wouldn't want to hack in something healthy and easy. Oh my gosh.
I got a good work buddy here today. Look at him.
Well, before you close us out, I just want to say thank you so much, Dr. I know everybody wanted to thank her. They did.
I mean, what a blessing, not only as our pediatrician, but to this team. Yes, thank you so much. And Christine, did you see in the chat, Dr. Sirota did recommend 2 different adult doctors. And you can see that in the chat if you're in South Florida. Those are some good recommendations. Well, guys, hearing from Dr. Sirota, I mean, it's so cool. It's one thing to see videos, you know, from the company, but it's another thing to just hear from somebody that we know, you know, and to just realize it's powerful what you guys are doing. Like Sharon said, like a bunch of mommies out there and daddies out there sharing. You know, you don't have to be Dr. Sirota to make an impact. In fact, the way Dr. Sirota explained it, you can be the one that impacts doctors by showing your numbers getting better. So, you know, I know it seems cliche. We talk about, you know, we're on a mission and we're a part of the revolution, but it's real. We see it happening. You see it whether Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or just the focus on whole foods in general, on organic, on taking control of your health. We are part of that, okay? So it's not just making a couple bucks a month or even a lot of bucks a month. It's literally like lives are being changed. We have kids on here who aren't using inhalers anymore. We have so many great health changes in so many people, and you guys are part of that. It can't happen without you. So if it doesn't get you fired up to hear her today, I don't know what's going to get you fired up, because it fires me up and makes me realize, so what do I do? Well, what we got to do is take advantage of events. Now, is this event going to be Dr. Sirota talking? No, but it's going to be healthy. It's all part of the community. As we draw people into the community, we're giving them the information. It's not just Juice Plus, whether it's drinking water. I mean, you guys know as much as I do, just changing your water intake is a huge change in your whole life. So we're not telling them any lies. We're giving them great information, and we want to get as many people in this community as possible, because it really, really does make a difference. So I want to encourage you guys to go out there and invite big to this event. I feel like this is a special event. They've put it together really special, and it's more than just like a one-off. Once they're in that group, there's going to be community that happens in that group. There's also going to be a series of great events that happen in that group. I don't know if that group's ever going to end. It might just keep going for a long, long time. I'm predicting that group will last for years, and we're going to be educating people. So I just want to thank Dr. Sirota and thank all of you guys for coming on to grow and for being a part of this community and part of this mission. Sharon, if you have anything to close out.
I think that's awesome. Everybody can unmute all of you. Dr. Sirota. She didn't know she was in the hospital.
Thank you, Dr. Sirota. Good to see
Thank
you
you
again.
for your time.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thanks so much.
Thank you
Feel
so very
better,
much.
and thanks.
Thank you.
Comment on her Tower Garden post. We're gonna rock. Tower Garden's on there. Let's go.
Early each Juice Plus 2, guys.
Is the time for Wednesday's event on Team Transformers?
I believe so, yeah. I don't know.
Thank you.
If not, it's in the sorry.
8:30 Wednesday.
8:30.
Thank you, Dr.
Excellent.
Sirota.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You.
I'll see you. I'm gonna come back to your house, Dr. Sirota, soon. Okay. All right.
Too much.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
Aw.
Bye. Where did he go? Oh,
Have a good day.